I gave you a choice of 4 films from my collection that I own that I haven't watched yet. The votes came in thick and fast, and it was a landslide victory for Alpha Dog. Here's my verdict. Films that I own that I haven't watched yet is usually over on our podcast. It's something I do. I pick names out of a hat at random and watch a film. I thought I'd give you the choice last month, and the films you had to choose from was The Acid House, Irvine Welsh, Oliver Stone's Alexander, and Martin Scorsese's Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, and John Cassavetes' Alpha Dog. Ben Foster, Sean Hatosy, Emile Hirsch, Sharon Stone, Justin Timberlake, Anton Yelchin and Bruce Willis. So great cast, great lineup. One crime, 38 witnesses, no way back. Blisteringly powerful, intensely moving and totally compelling. Timberlake is a revelation, inspired by true events. So on the back cover it says, cocky and headstrong Johnny Truelove is living the wannabe gangster's American dream as a drug dealer in the privileged neighbourhoods of LA. For Johnny and his crew, their existence is a heady blur of partying and looking for the next thrill. When raging hothead Jake fails to come up with money he owes Johnny, the situation escalates into a battle for dominance between the two and results in an ill-fated event with irreparable circumstances for all involved. For Johnny, the line between playing a gangster and becoming one soon blurs. Very real consequences for everyone involved. Inspired by actual events, Alpha Dog bites hard and doesn't let go. If you haven't watched this already, there are going to be spoilers here, so pause this, go and find it, because it is well worth watching. This film, I didn't know what to expect, and as it started, you see Bruce Willis in the opening scenes. He looks in this like the young Homer Simpson when he's got hair. That's what he kept reminding me of. It's probably just because it's Bruce Willis with hair. But it opens up and he's being sort of interviewed by someone. You don't quite know who it is. He's got a mic on and they're asking him about his son selling drugs. And they're saying, you know, we heard that he gets the drugs through you. But before that, the opening credit sequence is footage of children. Home footage of like children playing, birthday parties, playing in swimming pools. It's just like the innocence of children and childhood. And then after the Bruce Willis scene, then you go and see these youngsters. They all look like they're sort of late teens, early 20s. They're all acting like gangsters. It's all about the drugs and the money and the bitches and hoes. My sons would cringe to see me do that. So you got Emile Hirsch there, he's playing Johnny Truelove. He's got his gang all around him. There's one lad there that they all take the piss out of called Elvis, and they won't let him in to the gang, and they're getting him to do chores to earn his keep. They're real shits to him. I knew something was going to kick off, but not quite what. You know, and then when you meet the next character, Jake, and he going around to his family for dinner, and Sharon Stone's there, she's playing his stepmother. Anton Yelchin, the late Anton Yelchin, he passed away, didn't he? But he plays Jake's younger brother, and they're all sat around to dinner, and it's not long before Jake is sort of saying to his dad, come on, can I have a word? And he needs some money. You can tell he looks dodgy, you know, he's got the skinhead and tattoos, and his dad's like, no, this isn't happening, I'm not lending you any more money. And then he storms off, and you can tell he's a bit fiery, you know, he just turns very quick. So his younger brother really looks up to him, he sort of idolises him, and he sort of stays around his brother's house and has a smoke and gets a bit stoned. But Jake, he's also owes money to Johnny, and this is where the story starts. So Jake goes around sort of trying to convince Johnny that, you know, I don't owe you money, or we go halves on what I owe. I don't know, some deal has gone wrong, and I think it was like Sharon Stone character later on says it's like $1,500 or something, that it's all over. But Johnny's not going to take nothing lightly. He starts to garrote him with the belt. And this is where I thought, oh, fuck me, you know. I thought these guys were just playing. And then all of a sudden it kicks off. And Jake, he soon springs back to his feet. And then he beating the shit out of Johnny. And they're smashing through windows. And, you know, Jake, as we learn through the film, he can handle himself. Taekwondo, we learn that his younger brother Zach as well is black belt in Taekwondo. So that's all kicking off. Jake's pissed off. So he goes around to Johnny's house late at night, and they smash the place up, they rob it, he lays a shit on the carpet, you know. And Johnny's seen all this, and then Johnny's fiery now, and he's like, we've got to do something else. And it's when they're driving around thinking what to do, they go to Jake's apartment and he's not there. They smash his windows. And as they're driving away, then they see Jake's brother, Zach, a young boy. He's only 15. And they sort of pick him up. And it's at this point that you start seeing the witnesses. It says witness number 1, witness number 2. And you're thinking, oh no, this doesn't sound good. And it gives, if you don't know the story, it gives a real sense of anxiety. Because you're like, no, they're not going to kill this boy, are they? Just over this? It's nothing to do with him. He's innocent. Then they got nowhere to go, so they take him back to someone's apartment, and then the witnesses it keeps popping up subtitles, witness number this, that, and the other, and you just think, this is ridiculous. And then they see him, they take him to this apartment, and they've taped him up, they've tied him up and gagged him. But then later on, you come back, and he's just sat with them playing the PlayStation. He's not in a gag, and he's chilling with them, and Justin Timberlake sort of befriends him, and they sort of going around, and he's cool with him, and he's like, why don't you go and get on the bus? And he's like, no, I think I'd like to ride this out, see this through, I don't want my brother to get in any trouble. So he sort of decides to stay, and you're there thinking, this is going to go bad. But I mean, the film is really upbeat, it's quite fun. I mean, these kids, they are kids, and they're just party animals. They're just having a good time. There's a massive, big social community. They're living in these mansions. All of them are spoiled. The kids of rich parents, Justin Timberlake's dad is growing this massive nursery in his garden, growing weed. So it's gone now from being this sort of to and fro between Johnny and Jake, which is where I thought that it was going to go, and I thought it was just going to escalate, to them now having this kid around. But they're treating him to a good time. He's really enjoying himself, you see. He doesn't want to go back because there's hot girls everywhere. He's got weed on tap and, drinking, and they're going to parties. But then Emile Hirsch, Johnny, he phones up a lawyer and he's like, right, theoretically speaking, just say that someone owed someone money and then they've taken his younger brother just as collateral. What's going to happen? And the lawyer's like, they're going down for life. That's kidnapping. So then he's like, oh shit. So then he pulls Justin Timberlake aside, and it's just absurd, the thought that these kids would think, right, well, the alternative to this is to murder the boy. And they're not all thinking that. Emile Hirsch is sort of considering it. Justin Timberlake's, no, we can't do that. Justin Timberlake, from the word go, he's sort of been like, this isn't right. But Emile Hirsch, he's got this plot in his mind now, and he goes to Elvis. Of course he does, the one kid who tried to do anything to be in this gang. He thinks, once I do this, they'll have my back. And it's just the ignorance and the absolute absurdity of the logic between all these kids. They might be cool as fuck, but they're thick as shit. It's a real good story. It's harrowing. To think that it's true, it's the sort of film, it's like Fargo. They say it's a true story, and you're watching it and you're thinking, that can't be true, It's just so ridiculous that you think, it could be true, it can't be true. And especially as they're just sort of walking him around, look, we've stolen this kid, and they're showing him to other people, they're introducing him at parties, and what did they think was going to happen? It is absolutely ridiculous. But before Johnny decides, he's like, right, if I just phone up and speak to Jake, then we can sort this out. But by this time, the boy's been missing. Jake knows what's going on, and he's like, you fucking come anywhere near me, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to hunt you down. So that's when Johnny decides he can't go through with this. It's real harrowing to watch it, because you're having fun, and Zach is having fun, he's getting laid and bonding with these people, and he feels like he's part of this group. But at the end of the day, it's all business, but it's not, is it? It's just kids playing gangsters, all access to guns and gangs, and it is ridiculous. I mean, Elvis says a line in there, no more watching music videos, because at the beginning, you got the gangster rappers and they're all talking about Uzis, and it's just this mindset of just playing gangsters. It is frightening. And like, one of the most harrowing scenes is the scene where they're actually finally going to kill Zach, and he realises he's just sort of scared and he's upset, but he's willing and going away with it. And I'm thinking at this point, come on, taekwondo, you've shown us that taekwondo, just fucking beat the shit out of him, just get out of here. They take him up to a grave that they've dug, and it's barely a grave. He was always going to be found in that little shallow pit. It's just ridiculous. But it's a great film, but at the same time, it's horrible to say it's a great film because of the subject matter, because it's such a young, innocent life. And I think that's what the opening sequence sort of brings that to the forefront of your mind when you're watching it, before the story evolves. And yeah, this young lad, you know, he is baby faced and he's really nice and he gets on with everyone and he's amicable, and really good performance from Anton Yelchin. They're all really good in it. Ben Foster as Jake, oh my god, he's so irate, gets so irate so quick, and he was just volatile. I thought he was going to be the one that's going to cause the issues, but he's sort of the catalyst in a way, but he can't. They're not going to calm him down. They've gone too far. So it's just a stupid thing. They're just like, we grab the boy and he'll give us the money back. And then they realise that's not going to happen and it's all too late. So, I mean, like I say, the performances was good. The direction was great. It just really shot well, edited well. But the soundtrack was just so eclectic. There was just so much music constantly through the film. Just a great soundtrack album of like a lot of hip hop, and Bowie appears in there, and it's just a great soundtrack throughout. The only bit that I didn't like is that as soon as the murder takes place, and you know it's coming, you know that Elvis is just too thick. You know, he wants to be accepted, and you know he's not going to turn back. So, but as soon as the boy is shot and you see him just lying there in the pit, and then it cuts to Sharon Stone being interviewed, and it's obviously years later and she's let herself go. But it's, you know, whether that's a true thing or not, I think that they could have done without that, because you're in shock from the scene, and then you see Sharon Stone and she's in this fat suit, and it doesn't look very convincing, and it sort of takes you out of the moment. And her performance in this scene is great. What she's saying is really important, but because she's in this fat suit, it sort of detracts from the importance. I just thought that was a strange decision, and one for me that I just felt it ruined the atmosphere of the film and the build up to that point. But apart from that, I mean, they was all great in it. Emile Hirsch, I think he's a great actor anyway. Justin Timberlake's really good in it. You sort of feel like a buddy with him, you know, and you feel like, oh yeah, he'll be alright if he's with him. But all the time, like I say, you keep seeing these witness subtitles coming up and you're like, oh god. So that was Alpha Dog. That was the first of the films I own that I haven't watched yet, that I've done on this channel with you lot voting. So what I'll do next time, I'll pick out another 4. Keep your eyes peeled to the community tab on our YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, so you see it come up in your feed, and I'll choose 4 more films and give you the choice again to see which one you want me to watch and review next. So I hope you've enjoyed this review. I'll see you all again soon. Cheers.